Alright, g'day, Mick again. Alright, one today about another one of my favourites. I know I say that a lot, but they all really are, is the Green Singing Finch, also known as a yellow-fronted canary, but in Australia it's known as the Green Singing Finch, and it's one of the many Africans that we've got in our aviaries here. The Green Singing Finch is pretty much a canary. You know, it's a small little bird, it's a songbird. You can hear it in the background now, they just don't shut up, the males just sing continually. Well, most of them do. And they sound like a little canary, they're a beautiful little bird. Most of the African continent, maybe sort of more southish and sort of in their certain habitats, you'll find the green singers. There are a few subspecies of the green singer, but a solid population in Australian aviaries, and they're just delightful. They do get along with quite a few birds. With some others there is a little bit of conflict, particularly things like starfinches and that, where there's a lot of yellow. They don't get along as well, but otherwise, if the aviary is large enough, then everyone gets along just fine. Their breeding is usually up here in North Queensland. It's normally towards the end of the mid-year, then towards the end of the year. So July, August onwards through till January, your green singers will breed, and they're much like canaries. The male will could easily do 2 or 3 hens. They build a little cup nest, usually somewhere out of the way. Both of them do a fair bit of nest building. The male will generally start the nest off, and the female likes it, then she'll usually finish the nest off. And they've got a funny habit too. You'll see them, they'll reach over and even though they've got plenty of feathers on offering, they'll pull their own feathers out of their flanks to line their little nest. She sits tight for about 2 weeks, and then those chicks will hatch. Normally about 3 chicks in a nest. No, 2, 3. I don't normally have more than 2 chicks fledge at a time. Sometimes I'll see 3 chicks in a nest and I'll get all excited, but it's all for nothing. Usually 2 chicks will fledge, sometimes 1. They grow pretty quick once they leave the nest, or even after they hatch, within 3 weeks they're leaving the nest. And they're pretty flighty. They might spend a day on the ground tops, but they're already well flighted, and they fly around and they grow quite quickly. The parents make quite a fuss, and as you keep up the live food then, or or your egg food or whatever they're used to. They love the half-ripe seeds. The singers are the first to land on it, along with the Gordians and the stars when I put it in the aviary. They love it. So their diet's pretty simple. A lot like a canary really. Just a good seed diet, some greens. They appreciate the cuttlefish bone and the eggshells. And they do beautifully in a large mixed collection. They do much better on their own, of course, in pairs or whatever, as most birds do, but they do just fine in the mixed collection. There's not too much more about them. The quickest, easiest way to sex them is the male has a lot more bright yellow. He's got some bright yellow whiskers and a bright yellow chin and belly. And the hen is a little bit duller, and she's, depending on the subspecies, but the ones here in our aviaries, the female has that black necklace. It's almost like a pearl necklace across the throat, and it's a dead giveaway most of the time. Some hens, the necklace isn't very obvious, but they're still a little bit duller in colour, and of course they don't sing either. You'll see young males when they mature reasonably quickly, and you'll see young males start practice singing early in the piece, and it's usually a good way to pick out your young males quickly. You'll also notice that the males and the females will generally tend to chase the same sex always. So the mothers will start to chase the young hens, and the cockbirds will start chasing the young males. So they'll sort of give them their sex away as well. They like a bit of cover. So and they're very flighty. They're beautiful to watch in the air. They're like butterflies. They're very quick. They've mastered the art of flying, I can tell you that. They can be a bit tricky to catch in a large aviary with a net, so I usually have to use a trap. Anyway, I can catch them, but if I think of anything more, I'll load it again soon. Thanks.